Welcome back to Simple Human Design. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to be talking all about sleep and how you, as a particular type in human design, can really start to experiment with a very unique way of winding down in the evening and then falling asleep. And what we really want to achieve here is we want to achieve great sleep, and we don't want to be interrupted with our sleep, and we want to sleep for the amount of time that our body needs. So really, we don't want to pertain to, society saying, oh, you have to get 8 hours, or you have to get at least 6, or you have to go to sleep before 10 o'clock at night. All of these things, they can come into play, but today specifically, I am going to be talking to you about the energetics of sleep. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to preface this by saying that if you have an underlying health condition, then you may need to seek more of a health intervention with your sleep. This podcast is literally just helping you from an energetic and spiritual perspective in terms of how it is best that you can sleep. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of the different types, but I'm also going to tell you that there are a couple more things that actually do affect sleep than just your human design type. And I actually talk about them in my new sleep masterclass that I have. And you can find the sleep masterclass on my new store, which has just launched. And this sleep masterclass is going to tell you the 3 things in the human design system that you need to look out for when it comes to winding down in the evening and then going to sleep. And they are, really, really awesome things. Things like, who are you sleeping in the same bed with? Who are you in aura with before you go to sleep and when you're trying to sleep? And also definition of the other person can really come into play as well. And you'll be able to find out all about that in the sleep masterclass. So let's dive in. So we're talking about each of the different human design types today. So listen and see, where, when your type comes up, listen to see whether it resonates with you or whether there might be something that you can change about your evening routine to help you to get off to sleep a little bit more. So let's start with the generator type. So this is generator, but not manifesting generator. I'll come on to them in a second, because even though the generator and manifesting generator actually has a they have their sacral defined, and they have some similarities in them. Definitely when it comes to sleep, the generator is different from the manifesting generator. So with the generator, you guys have the sacral life force energy, and you are here to be lit up by what you do, and you're here to go, 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 right? Now, of course, you're still a human being living in a human body, so you still need rest. You still need lots of time for creativity. And where does creativity come from? It comes from rest. Okay, so I'm not saying in this podcast that you need to just go, go, go and do all day long. But you do need to consider that you do need to expend that energy before you go to sleep at night. Okay, now the sacral center is one of 4 motor centers. So you may have another motor center defined as well as your sacral. So it might be the ego center, it might be the emotional solar plexus center, or it might be the root center. So if you have your sacral and some of the other motor centers defined, then you are going to want to expend that energy before you go to sleep at night. Now, a lot of generators that I know and I talk to, they do find that the whole sort of concept that health coaches put out there that say, oh, you need to wind down before bed and you need to, be calm and relaxed and, make sure that you're having time alone. That doesn't necessarily work for generators. Okay, obviously depending on, who you live with, etc. But what does work for generators is if they are still going and then they fall into bed exhausted. Okay, when you fall into bed exhausted because your motors, are still going until you literally can't go anymore, that means that you will have a very successful night's sleep, and you will sleep as much as your body needs to, and then you will wake up feeling refreshed. because I think a lot of us, sometimes we might get 8 hours sleep, but we might not necessarily be getting good sleep, and we might not necessarily be getting, sleep that makes us wake up in the morning, jump out of bed, just like, generators tend to do, like 6 a.m. The 6 a.m. club, by the way, or 5 a.m. club is a generator thing. Okay, so if you're not a generator, you might really, really resonate with this. Okay, so that's generators with their sleep. Now let's talk about manifesting generators, because this is where it gets slightly different. And believe me, even though I'm not a manifesting generator, I have spoken to many Manigens who have implemented this, and they really do find that this works really well for them. So a manifesting generator, I'm going to talk about this as almost like a hybrid type, just for the purpose of this episode, even though they're not really a hybrid type. You guys are kind of part manifester, which is all to do with, the expression, the manifestation that actually comes out of your mouth. And you're also a generator as well. So you've got that buzzing, go, 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 do kind of energy. And in fact, the manifesting generator is very sort of, quick. You guys know how to do shortcuts, to get to the place a lot quicker than other people. So really with you guys, you've got this issue of, well, I've got the manifesting generator side of me, the generator side of me, which is, the motor that needs to keep going, and then I need to fall into bed exhausted. But you've also got the manifestor side of you. Now, with the manifestor side, and, this comes with manifestors as well, you do want to take yourself off a little bit before bed, and you want to calm yourself down, and you want to almost shut down your throat chakra and not be expressing yourself anymore at that point, right? And with a manifesting generator, what that looks like is that you come and have, a little bit of time in bed, and you don't express yourself. But what you do is you work in bed. Okay, so anything where you're not manifesting, or you're not expressing yourself, or you're not, bringing something together, if it's just a little bit of admin, just sit there and do that admin in bed before you fall asleep. And again, it goes against a lot of what health coaches say. And I'm not just picking on health coaches. It could be anybody. It could be any kind of coach. People say, oh, you shouldn't be working in bed. You shouldn't be doing this in bed. Bed is, like, you need to have like bed hygiene, because, bed is for sleeping only. Forget all that. If you're a manifesting generator, and believe me, I have spoken to a lot of Manigens who do this, and they get a great night's sleep. Fall into bed. You're a little bit tired anyway. You stop doing your manifestation, but you continue on doing a little bit of work, a little bit of admin. Just hold it back for your bedtime routine. So let's talk about manifestors now, as we've talking a little bit about them so far. So manifestors have this amazing ability to do that sort of manifestation and express themselves, but they don't have the sacral center that manifesting generators have. So with manifestors, you guys are quite independent and kind of like individual kind of people anyway. And it is really important for you, especially with that undefined sacral, to come away from people, to have at least an hour of downtime every single night where you're away from other people's energy, and then you will be able to get to sleep. And, that manifestation, again, just make sure that you're not doing that when you're in bed. And that calmness and everything that comes over you, that will hopefully bring in your signature alignment, which is peace. And then that's when you will be able to sleep. Okay. Now, you can sleep for as long as you want, right? Because you don't have that, you do have a motor center defined, but you don't have the sacral. So please don't worry if you're only sleeping 4 hours or you're sleeping 12 hours. It doesn't matter. It all depends on where you are in your manifestor cycle. You might be in your urge cycle, in which case you might not have much sleep, and you might just get up and just go and create things and manifest and get out there. Or you might be in your rest cycle, in which case you might sleep for 12 hours. I have a friend who literally just does that. So when she's in her rest, she sleeps for 12 hours and then she rests throughout the day as well. Now, let's have a chat about projectors. So this is where The same sort of concept comes in as the manifester that is for projectors as well. So you need to take yourself off, take yourself away from sacral. It's really important to drop that energy that you have brought in from, spending time with people during the day. So about an hour before you want to go to bed, make sure you come away from everybody and make sure that you're putting your focus, because remember, you've got a focused aura. Make sure you put in that focus into something. Okay, so reading would be preferable, or whatever else it is that's really going to help you to kind of like let everything else fall away from you, focus on that one thing, and then you will be able to get to sleep. Now, the one thing that I have done since I was 10 years old that really helped me to get to sleep, and it's kind of considered very unhealthy now if we look at the way that people are talking about things like electronics, etc., is that I actually watch awful TV programs on my iPad. It's about, because of my eyesight and my hearing, I've got my iPad about 3 inches away from my face, and I actually fall asleep watching something. And it's usually something I've watched before, so it's not keeping me alert because I know what's going to happen, so therefore it's fine. And when I, sort of really dive into, whatever it is that I'm watching, it could be Friends or Scrubs. I'm watching The Good Place at the moment as well. I've watched it for like 4 times already. When I do that, I literally, the mind just, it completely like just switches off. And I concentrate completely on what I'm watching, and then I end up falling asleep. And 9 times out of 10, I will fall asleep before that first episode is over. So it will be before 20 minutes is up. And as you can tell, this is really unhealthy because of all the electromagnetics going on and the fact that I've got electronics near me when I'm going to sleep. But it works for me, and I've been doing it for 30 years. Obviously, 30 years ago, I didn't have an iPad. I was listening to audiobooks, and me concentrating on audiobooks. And I remember the very first audiobook I ever had, and it was Joseph and His Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I literally used to have that on cassette player, and it used to get to the end of the cassette, and I'd turn it over and put it in and start it up again. And that was what helped me to fall asleep. So I've been doing it for years, and guess what? I have the best night's sleep ever, about 98% of the time. And I just sleep for 8 hours, and I wake up and I feel great. So yeah, it works. So with this, reflector. I forgot the reflector. So if you are a reflector, you will also want to come away from other people's energy an hour before you go to sleep. So make sure you're just dropping all that energy away from you, because you've got all those open centers. You're kind of, even though you're somewhat resistant, you are taking in other people's energy as well, especially if you live with sacral beings, because the sacral center is almost like the biggest in terms of energy. So if you live with people who have their sacral defined, then you will be taking in and amplifying that sort of big life force energy. So take yourself off, make sure that you just come away and concentrate on something a little bit different, and then you'll be able to sleep at night as well. Okay, talk about experimentation. So as you guys know, experimenting with the human design system is exactly what we are supposed to do here. So anything that I say to you, do not take it as, okay, this is it. Charlie is right. I am wrong. I need to do this. Okay. You always use it as an experiment. So let's say here today, you are kind of, you're all right with your sleep, but then you try and do whatever it is that I've said to do. And then after a week, it's really not working for you, then don't worry. Just go back to your normal routine and, just try and change things from there. I don't want people to come to me and say, oh, my sleep was completely disrupted. The only thing I would say is that the information I've given you here today, not only has it come from people that I've spoken to about the way that they sleep, and that, they confirmed to me, yes, the way that Ra Aruhu and all of the sort of like human design, sort of like experts that have been around for a couple of decades now, when I speak to these people, they confirm it, because they've been doing it for years as well. And also, don't forget that I have my sleep masterclass too. So if that is if that one thing that you start to put into place, and you do see a little bit of a difference, and you are sort of thinking, oh yeah, you know what, this stuff really does work, then check out my sleep masterclass, because it's going to give you a couple more things that's going to help you to understand how you can get better sleep according to your design specifically. And, like I said, it's all to do with who's in the room with you, what they have to find, what you have to find, and, what you're taking in, as well as the pressures that we have, coming into our bodies as well. So there's 2 pressure centers in the human design system. One is at the head, the crown, and one is on the root. And basically, we can be pressed into a pressure sandwich depending on our definition there. So pressures do not help us sleep in any way, shape, or form. So this is where we can start to put together a plan of action to help you release those pressures before you fall asleep. And it can all be looked at through the human design system. So thank you very much for listening today. Please let me know if you are going to experiment, or if you have accidentally just, found your way to, the perfect way of sleeping, and you want to let me know about it. So thanks very much, guys. See you soon. And I'll also see you in the Sleep Masterclass.